Welcome to Small Stories, Big Healing, where old teachings speak softly into modern lives.
When you cannot quiet the noise around you, when everything feels urgent, when your heart races even in a still room, have you ever wondered where clarity is supposed to come from? Some days, life does not arrive like a gentle breeze. It arrives like a storm. Messages piling up, expectations pulling, voices asking for answers you do not yet have. And when chaos surrounds you, it can feel like your mind must run faster just to keep up. But what if clarity is not something you chase? What if clarity is something you allow? This is a short story that may change your life. This is Small Stories, Big Healing. Once upon a time, in a seaside city where the wind never seemed to rest, there lived a young man named Tomas. Tomas was diligent and responsible. He was the kind of person people relied on, the one who replied quickly, the one who fixed problems before they grew. But lately, Tomas felt like he was living inside a shaken jar. Even when he was standing still, his thoughts were spinning. At work, he jumped from one task to another like a bird startled by every sound. At home, he tried to rest, but his mind replayed conversations, imagined future mistakes, and gathered worries like stones. One evening, the city's wind grew stronger than usual. It rattled windows and flung leaves through alleys. Tomas sat at his small table, staring at a list of things he needed to do. The list seemed endless, and for the first time in a long time, he whispered to himself, "I don't know what I'm doing anymore." That frightened him, so he did what many people do when they feel lost inside their own mind. He went searching for someone who seemed calm. Not far from Tomas's apartment, on a quiet street away from the busy harbor, there was a small shop with a simple wooden sign that read, "Maps repaired here." It was an unusual sign. Most shops sold maps, but this one repaired them. Curiosity pulled Tomas inside. The shop smelled faintly of paper and cedar. On the walls hung old maps, some faded, some torn, some stitched carefully like wounds that had healed. Behind the counter sat an elderly woman with silver hair tied back neatly. Her eyes were clear, as if they had spent many years looking at storms without fearing them. She looked up and smiled. "Welcome," she said gently. "What has torn in you today?" The question landed softly, but it reached deep. Tomas hesitated. Then the words spilled out in a rush. "I can't think clearly," he admitted. "My life is full. My work is loud. My mind won't stop moving. Even when nothing is happening, I feel like something is about to go wrong." The woman listened without interrupting. When he finished, she nodded slowly. "You are not broken," she said. "You are simply stirred." Tomas frowned. "Stirred?" The woman reached under the counter and brought out a small glass jar. Inside the jar was water, cloudy and brown like a river after heavy rain. She placed it in front of him. "Hold this," she said. Tomas wrapped his hands around the jar. It was cool against his palms. The woman asked, "Can you see through it?" He stared. "No," he said. "It's muddy." She nodded again. "Shake it," she instructed. Tomas looked confused. "Why?" "Just do it," she said, still calm. So Tomas shook the jar. The water became even cloudier, the little bits of earth swirling wildly as if they were dancing with no direction. The woman leaned forward slightly. "Now," she asked, "can you see through it?" Tomas let out a small laugh, bitter and tired. Of course not. It's worse. The woman's voice remained gentle. That is what you do to your mind, she said. When chaos rises, you shake yourself harder. More thinking, more planning, more forcing. And then you wonder why you cannot see. Tomas stared at the jar, and something in him went quiet for half a breath. But I can't just stop, he said. If I stop, everything will fall behind. The woman tapped the jar softly with her finger. Set it down, she said. Not forever, just for a moment. Tomas placed the jar on the counter. The muddy water continued swirling, still restless from the shaking. The woman said, "Now do nothing to it." Tomas watched. At first, nothing changed. The mud still spun in circles, as if it refused to settle. Tomas felt impatient. His fingers twitched, wanting to pick the jar up again, to do something. The woman noticed. "You want to fix it," she said, "because you believe clarity comes from effort." Tomas sighed. "Yes." The woman smiled kindly. "Effort has its place," she said. "But clarity is not born from force. Clarity is born from stillness." They waited. Slowly, almost invisibly, the tiny particles began to drift downward. The water did not become clear all at once. It softened, it lightened, and after a while, a small window of clarity appeared near the top. Tomas leaned in. "I can see a little," he whispered. The woman nodded. "Not because you fought the mud," she said. "Not because you chased the water around, but because you stopped stirring it." Tomas swallowed. His eyes stayed on the jar, but the lesson had already moved beyond the glass. He spoke quietly. "So, what do I do in my life? I can't control the noise. I can't stop everything." The woman walked to the back of her shop and returned with an old map. It was beautiful, but it was covered in ink marks and scribbles. Lines crossing lines, circles overlapping circles, as if someone had tried too hard to find the perfect route. She laid it on the counter. "This belonged to a sailor," she said. "He came to me years ago, frantic. He wanted to reach every destination without ever facing rough waters." Tomas traced the messy ink with his eyes. "He made it worse," Tomas said. The woman's smile deepened. "Yes," she said. "He kept drawing new routes over old ones every time he felt afraid. Soon the map became unreadable." She slid the map closer. "Tell me," she said, "when you feel overwhelmed, what do you do?" Tomas answered honestly. "I think harder. I plan more. I replay everything. I try to solve the future." The woman nodded. "And does it bring you peace?" Tomas looked down. "No," he said. "It brings me more noise." The woman placed her hand flat on the messy map. "Then you are drawing routes in a storm," she said. "You cannot design a calm path while the waves are still breaking over your head." Tomas sat very still now, as if his body finally understood what his mind had been resisting. "But if I don't plan," he said softly, "how will I know what to do?" The woman lifted the jar slightly and pointed to the water. "When the water clears," she said, "does it lose its power?" Tomas shook his head. "No. It becomes useful," she replied. "It becomes honest. It shows you what is truly there." She leaned in. "Clarity does not tell you everything," she said. "Clarity tells you the next right thing." The words settled in Tomas's chest like something he had been waiting to hear. The woman reached into a drawer and pulled out a small, smooth stone. She placed it in Tomas's palm. "Carry this," she said. He looked at it. It was ordinary, gray, worn, simple. "What is it for?" he asked. The woman answered, "When your day becomes loud, hold it for 10 breaths. 10 breaths? "Yes," she said. "Not to escape your life, not to pretend you have no responsibilities, but to stop shaking the jar." Tomas stared at the stone, doubtful. The woman continued. "When the wind howls," she said, "even the tallest trees do not fight the sky. They bend, they wait. They allow the storm to pass through them instead of trying to defeat it." Her voice softened further. "You do not have to win against chaos," she said. "You only have to stop letting it command your mind." Tomas sat there a long time. He watched the jar again. Now the water was noticeably clearer. The mud had sunk to the bottom, forming a quiet layer, no longer swirling, no longer demanding attention. Tomas felt something similar within himself, a gentle settling. Not perfect peace, but space. Space enough to breathe, space enough to think, space enough to choose. He stood slowly, as if he didn't want to disturb the newfound quiet inside him. He asked, "Will the chaos go away if I do this?" The woman shook her head kindly. "The world will remain the world," she said. "Winds will blow. People will demand. Life will surprise you." Then she added, "But you will no longer be a leaf in every gust. You will become the riverbed, steady, patient, letting the water move without losing yourself." Tomas nodded, and for the first time in weeks, he felt a small warmth behind his eyes. He thanked the woman and stepped back outside. The wind was still there. The city was still noisy, but Tomas did not run. He walked. And when his mind began to hurry again, he placed his fingers around the stone in his pocket and took 10 slow breaths. 1, 2, 3. The world did not stop, but his jar began to settle. And in that settling, he found the beginning of clarity. Now let us speak plainly, because this is the lesson hidden inside the story. Clarity is not something you wrestle from life. Clarity is what remains when you stop stirring your mind. When you are overwhelmed, your instincts may tell you to think faster, work harder, plan more, and control everything. But a muddy jar does not clear by shaking. Your mind does not become peaceful by force. It becomes peaceful by allowing space. So when your days feel chaotic, try this simple practice. Pause. Take 10 slow breaths. Let your thoughts settle like mud in water. Ask yourself one gentle question. What is the next right thing? Not the next 10 things. Not the perfect plan for the whole future. Just the next right thing. And then, do that. One step at a time. One breath at a time. That is how clarity is found. Not at the end of chaos, but within it. If you learned something today, or if Tomas's journey brought you even a small sense of calm, I invite you to stay connected with us. This is Small Stories, Big Healing. Short tales to soothe your heart and guide your steps. If this story should reach more people who are struggling with chaos and overwhelm, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs this reminder, And comment below, what does clarity mean to you? Your one comment may encourage someone else who feels overwhelmed tonight. And if you'd like more stories that bring gentle comfort and insight, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next healing story. Until then, remember this: even muddy water becomes clear when it is left in peace. Small Stories, Big Healing will be here with another tale whenever your heart needs a gentle reminder.